afternoon everybody. Just going to do a quick video on comparing two small handheld radios I've got. Wouxun KG-UVD1P and the fairly new Baofeng GT-3. I've had a few people ask to do a comparison between these. I don't have the original Baofeng, the model that's more in line with the Wouxun. When they came out at roughly the same time, they were fairly similar. They're all fairly similar. These, well, at the time when I got the Wouxun, they were import only through eBay buyers, etc. And now they've become incredibly popular, for good reason, I think, because they are superb little things, and for the price, you really can't argue. These are the two radios. Pretty much both similar. They're 2 and 70cm radios. They span a bit lower and a bit higher in the bands as well. And everything else is fairly the same, really. As you can see, the layouts are fairly the same. There's a dual band. You can monitor one band while being on another. They both have the same little touches that all these imports seem to have. They've got an LED light at the top there, and there's also a button you can press to get normal FM radio. They're both, I can't remember the Wouxun, I think they're about the same. The GT is 129 memory banks. I think the Wouxun's about the same. But this new model, I really like the GT3. It's got a nicer feel to it. The ergonomics on it are just that little bit better. You can see the thickness of them, even though this has got a clip on it. The Baofeng does have a clip for the battery as well, but I've just chose to leave it off. But it's still a bit thinner, slightly shorter. But it's just the battery's slightly more curved on it. It's got a bit better grip on the sides. It just feels a bit better, and the buttons on the Wouxun are more of a harder type plastic. Now the GT3 aren't like a soft rubber by any means, but they have got that little bit extra tactile feel to them. They're not as stiff almost as the Wouxun ones, so I do like the feel of it better. Also, in practical use, I have to admit that the screen being up here on the Baofeng's better than having it down here on the Wouxun, and also when you're talking, obviously. You're going to be talking further. You're going to have it the way you'll have it to your mouth. It's probably more practical to have the speaker and the mic here than a bit further up. Not too much difference. It's just I find it more comfortable to hold and use the GT3 compared to the Wouxun. I mean, even little things like the button, the PTT. Here you can see it on the Wouxun there, is right at the top, and then you've got this one pretty much more in the centre. And when you're actually holding that to talk, you do find it a lot easier to use your thumb or even your fingers, the way the PTT is set on here than it is on here. I have to admit, I do find it easier, and again it's a bit softer to the touch than it is on the Wouxun. Only minor things, but as I say, they all add up. Both these aerials, you can see them are non-stock. I believe the stock aerials on the all the Baofengs are fairly the same, I think, and they're not well rated at all. I have to admit, when I used it, they do heat up pretty quickly, pretty fast, right at the base. It's pretty much just a short dummy load, I think. But these, let's see how you pronounce it, the Nagoya ones, a couple of £1 extra when I bought this, and they are very well rated. And I have to admit, it does improve the receive and the TX as well. And it's the same, pretty much the same one on the Wouxun as well. Before I switch them on and show the battery, some people have complained, I've heard, with the GT3, saying the batteries are really stiff and awkward to get on and off. I don't know why. Well, certainly not on my model anyway, whether they're a bit tighter on certain ones. They're 1800 milliamp batteries as well. You see they've got the ridges on, which improves, and they're slightly curved, it improves the grip. Obviously once you've put them in on the GT3, it is much better to hold in the hand. The Wouxun ones, if anything, the batteries on these are a bit more awkward because you have to push both sides down and clip them. The ones that come with the Wouxun I think are 1300 or 1350 milliamp, I can't remember now. I also got an extra battery which is 1700, but the standard ones on the Baofengs are 1800 milliamps, so a bit more of an improvement. Switch them both on. Everything else is roughly the same, you know, backlit keys, display, apart from the Baofeng now has a kind of a negative, almost inverted display, as you can see there when it goes off. Now, I know people have complained about this, which I can see why. If you're using it indoors or anywhere poorly lit, it is quite difficult, at a glance should I say like that, to see the display, whereas on the Wouxun you can see it a lot easier. But once you get close up, I think the display is actually a lot sharper, and in good light it's a lot better than the Wouxun. When they're both actually lit, however, I think it's much better on the GT3. It's just a lot clearer once the backlight's on, and even the keys. I mean, not that it's much difference, but it's harder to see there. But the keys on the GT3, it's kind of backlit around the key rather than the numbers themselves. And I actually prefer this in dark light. It's just the oranges are it's a bit gentler on the eyes. It's only little things, but I do prefer it on this, I have to admit. As I say, everything else is not far off. So you hold that top key and it turns to FM. Put it back. Do you remember which is which on this now? Oh. Yeah. If you hold the top key on the Baofeng as well, it's got a little extra added thing which you can change in the menu. You can have it as an alarm. Why? I don't know, because in all honesty, I don't think many people are going to come running to your aid if this is going off, to be honest. They'll probably just look at you like a prat, which you will be. So I'm not sure the purpose of that, but it's just something else that's just a little interesting. You can't complain for getting something else extra, I suppose. But that's pretty much the units themselves, as they are. I won't show any of the boxes and all the little extras really. I've got a few pictures of them which I'll probably add into the video. The only other thing I got with them is the programming cables for each, which that's the one for the Wouxun. They're both USB, you know, virtual COM ports, all that. They're both just like a 3.5mm and a smaller. Jack goes into the side of the radio, and the Baofeng's exactly the same, just a bit newer, and they both go into the side. In all honesty, I bought this cable because it came with the kit. I haven't tried it, but I would hazard a guess that this will work just as well on probably all these imports that use this type of connection. I would guess. Can't say for certain, but I have to try. So that's both the radios, as I say. You have you can switch between. On this one, it's between memory mode and just frequency mode, and then you switch which channel you're monitoring and which you're TXing on, and same on here. Just switch between the two. The difference on here, which I haven't been able to find on the Baofeng yet, you can have it in, as I say there, memory mode or frequency mode, but on the Wouxun you can have it in just a single mode if you wish. The camera will focus with it, so you can have it on the two bands, the dual band, or you can have it on a single. I haven't found a way to do it on the Baofeng yet, but it doesn't really make a difference, to be honest. Having both, I can see why you'd want maybe one mode, but it really, in practice, it doesn't seem to make a difference to me. Right, let's get on to the actual radios themselves. That's just a quick comparison of the Baofeng GT-3 and the older Wouxun UVD1P, both on PMR, both with the non-stock aerials you can buy, just the little whips you can buy for a couple of £. It's not ideal conditions, just struggling with both, and I'm indoors. And the person that
Tony! Yeah, hello. So is it a big, marked improvement then?
100% improvement, to be honest, mate.
I told you the difference.
right. There's a Wouxun, there's a GT-3.
Some even better. Some with more power, you get even further. A better front end, it will seat better as well.
Yeah, I understand, mate. It can just make all the difference for it, doesn't it?
So you getting in, Paul? You're probably not.
And there's the Wouxun.
I'm getting him absolutely well, better than you. Oh. Sounds a lot clearer at me. You sounded tinny over here.
Back to the GT-3.
Yeah, I'm on my AC, but I don't normally use this one, my 857.
It's kind of hard to make out, but you can.
Yeah, but then again, you wouldn't need an aerial, would you?
The volume does sound better on the GT-3. You can put it up a bit louder and it does sound better in person. It's got a bit more bass to it, but doesn't sound as tinny, and definitely sounds a bit clearer, I have to admit. That's a GT-3.
Yeah.
That's a Wouxun.
I don't know. It was just really hard work for people who couldn't see. It was just all in the hallway. You could hear everything that people were saying all the time. It just wasn't. There was no privacy about it whatsoever. Was everybody arguing? No, I was a little bit because they were banging on about Kian's presentation, but I don't know what. He's 11-year-old and he's got an eyesight problem, and that's all they kept criticising him right.
I don't know how well it's coming across. It almost sounds a bit more bassy on the GT-3 than the Wouxun, but it sounds more.
No, but don't know. I can see the point sort of they were on about for exams and stuff, but it's not applicable because he'll get someone to read and write for him anyway. But you know, when they keep banging on about.
It sounds more forced on the Wouxun. It sounds more.
Now he can, you know, there's nothing.
I don't know if it's capable, like the speaker can actually put it out. It's not forced to put the power out on the GT-3.
I guess they're just not used to anybody like that, I suppose. But that just teaches attitude stigma. You know, we've had a few issues with them.
Back to the Wouxun.
Willy-nilly, just chucking out bloody detentions at the minute. Alright, you've never had none of them yet, but you know, wouldn't surprise me. See, anyway, it's nice to speak to you both, Paul. I'll nip in and see you on Friday and let you know one way or the other what I'm doing.
You can see they're both struggling.
There's only one left on one stall, which managed to get the UVB5. Alright, actually.
But there,
I'll see you.
the Wouxun's not picking up there, intermittently. They're both struggling there.
Well, if I haven't got now to no way to get hold of him. If anyone can, I'll probably get it off PO.
That's GT-3. Put them both up.
No, he's not.
The thing is, mate, you can't get battery for it. So you might be able to now. You couldn't then, so I don't know.
As you can see there, the GT-3's picking up a lot more than the Wouxun is.
But yeah, if anyone can get hold of him, give him my number or my details and tell him I'll have to grab him.
Both.
Speeches on about M3PAU.
Naughty, naughty. I think we'll leave it at that for now, and I'll move on to the next part. Right, so how would I rate the two of these little radios? Well, the Wouxun I've had for quite a long time now, and I can't fault it. It's been an absolutely superb little thing for what it cost. I mean, at the time I had to import it. It took a couple of weeks to come, but it was worth every penny. Served me well ever since. The GT3 though, I mean, I did mean to pick up the earlier Baofeng version, but I thought it was too similar to the Wouxun, which the GT3 I suppose is really, but apparently it's got, you can read up on the specs, it's got a new audio processor, a few new different chips on the boards inside that are apparently give it better receive and better audio. The audio definitely sounds a lot better. I mean, I don't know how well the video shows it, but the audio does in person sound a lot better on the speaker. The speaker just seems to have a bit more meat to it, so things do definitely sound better. I've been told by a few people I've spoke to that the receive, or the audio they get from me, is a lot better on this new GT3 than the Wouxun was. And a few of the people I know have heard plenty of people around my area that are on the old Baofengs, Wouxuns and various other handhelds, to be honest, and you can usually always tell when someone's on a handheld. They just got, you know, a different type of audio to them, but from what I've been told, this sounds like my bass set. I've got a 7900 Yaesu 7900 bass set, and on 270cm I've been told it sounds the same as that, roughly. Some people are pretty close to me, so you know it's not a true test of it, but a lot of people have said the audio sounds just as good as that, whereas when I've been on the Wouxun, out and about with the dog, etc., you can tell that I'm on a handheld straight away regardless of signal. So with that alone, I'll take people's opinion and say obviously it does sound a lot better. The receive, I tried to put in the video, it wasn't coming through as well, but it's a lot harder to see on the video, but it does seem to receive a lot, not a lot, I should say a lot better. It receives a little bit better than the Wouxun, but then again in the video when I've watched it back myself, it does seem that it almost sounds a bit better on the Wouxun sometimes. I think it's just a volume in person. Personally I have to say it sounds, the receive sounds better in kind of ideal conditions. It sounds better on the GT3, not by a long way, but it's noticeable, so I definitely find it an improvement. They're not quite the same whips, and when I was doing the video it was in a house, you know, it's not ideal conditions, people were that far away and I was only listening to the PMR, so I have been meaning to get someone on 270 to actually do a proper test, but I haven't got the chance yet. I might have to do another video if it'll help anyone, but it did give a rough guide that were sat next to each other, pretty much the same aerials, and it, on only one person it was picking up better on the GT3, and that was the one person that just happened to be further away than everyone else. So everyone else I don't think give a true test because they're a bit too close. But all in all, I'm really pleased with it. I mean, if anything, the actual improved ergonomics of it are worth it, to be honest. For me, it just feels a bit better in the hand. It's slightly curved, the buttons are slightly better. I like the display, I know a lot of people don't. The battery's got a bit of better life on it. One thing I will say though, I have only noticed, as in some of the pictures, the power bar or battery gauge, whatever you want to call it, in the top right, from what I can tell, doesn't actually go down. It shows 3 bars as being full, but when it comes to dying, it doesn't actually go down. Not on mine anyway. I've had it quite a few, whether that's because it dies too fast, but it seems to just be an icon from what I've seen, because it's died on me 3 times now. Not that the batteries aren't perfectly fine, they last a hell of a long time, longer than my Wouxun ones did, but when I've used it, it's been on the full 3 bars, then I've been using it and it's died on me without actually going down to 2 or 1 bars. So I don't know whether it actually goes down or not, you know, physically to 2 and 1 bars on the icon. I don't know. Same with the receive, when you get a signal coming in the top left, it shows like the 3 signal bars like you do on a mobile, but I've never had it 1 or 2 bars, it just comes in as an icon. I think it's just an icon to show you're getting a receive, and obviously they know people are used to mobile icons, so they've probably put that there. But all in all, I'm absolutely chuffed to bits with it. It's a great little radio, and for the money that I paid for it, if you look them up, there's various, you know, different prices and different bits of kit you can get with it, but for the base model and the other little bits you can get with it, I think it's absolutely cracking little radio, and I'm chuffed to bits with it. It's a definite improvement on the Wouxun, not massively, but it is an improvement nonetheless, and the little touches I really like. It does make it a bit more comfortable to be out and about with it, so yeah, I'm pleased with it anyway. And if anyone else wants to ask any other questions on it, please leave in the comments below and I'll certainly try to answer them. I was going to show the programming. I've done that in a separate video I'm going to try and put up. The programming is exactly the same between the two radios. I imagine they're probably the same between most of them. Really easy to do, very quickly once you get it programmed up the first time, and then altering it's an absolute breeze. So for now I'll call that quits, and anyone wants to ask any questions, please do. But yeah, thumbs up from me, and I'm really happy with it. Bye bye.